You likely know what massage is, but do you know about fertility massage? Well, that's what we're talking about today. Happy New Year and welcome to Lunchtime Live with the Center, where we talk about important fertility related topics to inform and support your journey. My name is Ami Choksi and I'm your host. You may know Carissa Spada through her yoga classes that we offer twice a month, but she's also a licensed massage therapist and offers fertility massage. Carissa's here. So, Carissa, welcome.
Great, thank you. It's great to be here.
Wonderful. Well, you've been a massage therapist for a while. So, how did you also come to specialize in fertility?
Yeah, it's actually something that because of my own fertility journey and having ultimately gone through IVF ourselves, I've been really steeped in this world of fertility and wanting to support other women. It's definitely been a passion of mine. It's been a huge part of my work for about the last about 8 years or so.
Mhm.
And doing yoga and with doing massage work, I started to really think to myself, there's got to be a way to have massage be more specific to fertility. So I literally did a Google search thinking, is there such a thing as fertility massage? I didn't even know if it was a thing. I never received it when I was going through fertility challenges. I thought to myself, is this even a thing? And lo and behold, it is. And there's trainings that you can get. And I've taken two of them, and one was in Baltimore. So I got to travel down to Baltimore and take this training, and that was just a couple of years ago. And so since that training and a subsequent training that I've taken, I've been practicing fertility massage, and it's been really, really wonderful to see that it is very much a thing,
Mhm.
and is really, really, it's a really supportive practice. So it's been from that Google search to now has been a really wonderful time for me.
So, when we talk about fertility massage, how is that different from
Yeah,
other massage?
absolutely. It's such a great question because I feel like there's some sort of educating people, especially people who have received a lot of massage. There's an expectation of what massage will be like. And so I sort of start off by saying, anything that you think about massage, we're gonna let that go because it's not a traditional massage. It's a very specific protocol designed to support and enhance one's ability to conceive. And so it's very different. We're not having this time on the table where it's a head to toe massage. It's a very specific protocol, which actually starts with a lot of conversation. So there's a lot of fertility coaching around lifestyle pieces, around emotional support. I always tell everybody that my job is certainly to support in any way that I can for you to achieve your goal for pregnancy, but it's also to support you as a whole human being going through the process of fertility. So it's very focused on that. And then once we do get onto the table after coaching and support and any conversations that need to happen to support the person that I'm working with. Once they're on the table, it's a very unique protocol where we're starting with a castor oil pack. So that is really comforting and relaxing. And there's a lot of reasons that we do that. Then we're working with cranial sacral energy. So there's a lot of energy work.
Mhm.
I'm doing a guided visualization. So the person on the table just gets to listen to the visualization as it sort of washes over them. There's a lot of acupressure that is then brought in. There's a lot of time spent on the feet. Then lots of belly work, external uterine massage to support uterine position, lots of low back work to support the pelvis being loose and open. So it's a very unique practice and protocol that's very different than traditional massage.
And you do that in the space where you are currently, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is my studio space that is located in West Hartford, and this is a space that's dedicated just for massage. I also do my Zoom yoga classes in here, but it's a space dedicated just for my clients to come in, and the table is set up behind me, and it's a very quiet. Beautiful space that's also really intended for the person coming to have really some quiet, special time.
Now, during this time of COVID, how does it work? What can someone expect?
Great question because it is so different. In
Mhm.
fact, had COVID and we all had to pause for work, when the state allowed massage therapy to open back up again, it took me a little bit longer to open up because I really needed to understand all of the protocols and feel safe for me and safe for anybody walking into my room. So the differences are that I'm not masked right now because I'm in the space by myself. But typically when I'm in this room, I'm masked, and the person coming to see me is also masked. So that's all of this is also detailed ahead of time. So nobody has any surprises or doesn't know what's going to happen. This is all sent to them ahead of time, so they don't have to remember this. Their temperature is taken. Mm-hmm. I take mine in every morning, so I know that I can see clients that day. Their temperature is taken upon coming into the room. They stay masked. I stay masked. We both hand sanitize upon entry. And there is a very specific, I think it's 4 levels of air filtration that are in this room 24/7. So those are some of the sort of main differences. There's some other little differences that happen on my table that nobody would see. So there's some other things that the state requires that I do as well, of course. So anything that the state requires, and anything else that I see as keeping everybody safe is what's done.
Who is someone that you would recommend for this? What type of patient, person, someone? Yeah.
So it's really a wide continuum. So typically who I end up seeing for the most part, and this is just, I guess, who's finding me, typically tend to be women who have maybe already been trying for quite some time. This work is designed for anybody. So it can be somebody who is maybe younger and newly married and thinking about getting pregnant and want to have their bodies and their minds and everything be in the best place possible and to make sure they're getting support. We can start with somebody there, and we can work with somebody who's had, several rounds of IVF and maybe they're still in that process of going through IVF. So it can be anybody from trying to conceive naturally to fertility treatments. Again, typically the people that find me are the women who are going through fertility treatments, lots of IVF or IUI. And the protocol is designed around the timing of either menstrual cycle or fertility treatment. So I'm always talking pretty extensively when someone's coming to see me about when the right time is to come. And then we figure that out based on exactly what's happening for them.
So does that mean that someone should come during a certain part of their cycle?
Exactly. So if we're talking about somebody who can be getting pregnant because they're not on birth control, they're not on a down regulation medication, then we're assuming pregnancy after ovulation. And then this protocol is before ovulation, towards the end of period to ovulation. And when we're dealing with treatments, sometimes we have a wider range of when we can see somebody because they are sometimes on, a protocol that is down regulating. So we have a little bit more time.
Excellent. Just wanted to mention that someone wrote that they highly recommend you and found their session with you to be very helpful and relaxing. Oh. So you talked a little bit about castor oil pack and foot. I'm guessing reflexology. How did these things? What have you learned as far as how it impacts fertility?
Absolutely. So castor oil packs are really fantastic for fertility in that they're very anti-inflammatory. So what we can understand of it is that certainly the castor oil goes below the skin. Anything we put on top of our skin is certainly going to get absorbed. So the castor oil is very anti-inflammatory. So from that perspective, there's potential, and we never know for sure, but there's potential that we can maybe break down a little bit of scar tissue or adhesions or help to loosen up anything that might be stuck in the pelvis, combined with after that castor oil has sat there for quite some time, because during this protocol, the castor oil is going to be on for about 40-ish minutes, potentially, based on the timing of our session. And so by the time that castor oil has really had a chance to soak in, then we get to do the abdominal work, which can, again, help with digestion. Helping with digestion then helps with hormone balance, because when our gut is clear, then our bodies can be more balanced. So there's a lot of indirect cause and effects that sort of happen down the line. And the reflexology is very similar to the acupressure. And if we think about acupuncture, the ways in which we know that we're accessing different meridians or different organs we can stimulate. We're doing a lot on the feet to stimulate ovaries, to stimulate uterus, to work on the fallopian tube. So sort of that same thought process when we think about acupuncture, we're now doing this in an acupressure way and accessing that through the feet as well.
And how long is typically, I mean, if someone were to schedule an appointment, how long would it take and how often would you see someone?
Yeah, thank you. So that's a great question too, because it's another thing that's a little bit different than traditional massage, and that I always tell people to schedule and plan to be here for 2 hours. So that's a longer time than most massage sessions. And sometimes we can wrap it up in an hour and 45, an hour and 50 minutes. And that's usually only if I've been seeing somebody quite some time, so that maybe some of the talking time in the beginning has maybe gotten a little bit shorter, but almost everybody is here for the full 2 hours.
Okay.
And that's important when you're scheduling, to note that, to really have that time set aside. And again, that's because there's a lot of support in the beginning. It's also a time to just be here and be present and to be heard and to have somebody listen and support in any way that that person needs.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 hours are really important. And I think you asked another question, but now I've lost my train of thought.
Really, it was just about what to expect from a time frame.
Yes. Yep. 2 hours.
Okay. And so how would someone schedule this with you before we go?
So absolutely. So you can be going right to my website, which is my first and last name.com. So CarissaSpada.com. My email is a great way to contact me. That's info@CarissaSpada.com. So just INFO, and again at CarissaSpada.com. Even if you Google Fertility Massage Connecticut, you're going to find me through the center's website. So that's another way. So there's lots of ways to just reach out through the website or through email or through the center for sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about this that we haven't covered? You know, something that even patients can be doing at home in between sessions too?
Yes, absolutely. So there's really, and that's one of the main things that we discuss, is how can we best support you as a person, which means there are things that can be done at home to support the stress or the highs and the lows, and the ways to really support your body, and for your body to know that it's a safe time to get pregnant and stay pregnant. And so we talk about all sorts of ways to support. And really one of my passions is anything that we discuss is to make it accessible and doable. So when people sit down here and they're in the chair that's across from me, and we start to discuss things, I always say, this is not a go home and do this list. This is a let's talk about this and what things resonate with you and what challenges or roadblocks feel like they're coming up for you, because I love to find ways that are accessible and doable. So, sometimes somebody might hear something like, oh, I know it would be helpful if I meditated more. I know it would be helpful if I had more time for myself. Or I know it would be helpful if A, B, or C. Or I know maybe if I ate a little healthier, that would be good for me. But all of those things feel like too much and overwhelming, or any aspect of it feels hard. And so my job is to find ways that are very right-sized and very doable. There's nothing that needs to be done in an extreme way. There's nothing that needs to be held perfectly. It's really about being gentle and compassionate with ourselves and finding right-sized, doable, accessible ways to support our bodies, to support our minds, and to support this process of getting pregnant and staying pregnant.
Excellent. Well, that's lovely. Carissa, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Well, join us next week for another Lunchtime Live, and be sure to check out our website at yukonfertility.com for additional information, as well as a calendar of events to support and help you feel connected. And one of those events happens to be Carissa's yoga classes as well. So, all right, see you next week.